In this tutorial, I'll show you how to automate the login to a website. And I think this is really the tutorial that, if you've been following along with my Selenium series so far, this is really the one that you've been waiting for. So with true automation, there's things that you're going to want to perform, and the barrier is usually trying to log into a website in order to do the rest of automation that you need to. So in my opinion, I think this is like the juiciest, the best part of Selenium, being able to automate these type of things. So I'll just go straight into my folder. And the first thing that I'm going to do, I'm just going to clean up the script a little bit so you can follow along. And in the description, what I'll do, I'll put some chapters in here. So if you want to skip this part and go straight into the other bits, then you'll be able to do that. And I will warn you, I always do spelling mistakes, and I always need to go back and correct my spelling mistakes. So what I will do, I will just do a copy of the last tutorial file. And I'll call that login.py, and then I'll just go into the folder using Vim. Okay, so here's our file, and this is just following up from the last. This is a copy of the file from my last tutorial, which was about doing a screen grab, doing a full page screen grab, and using Pi Virtual Display. So as you can see, I've got Pi Virtual Display up here, and I'm just going to further just clean this script up a little bit. And I'm not sure if I mentioned it in the last tutorial, but I try to avoid doing procedural programming. What I normally do is more sort of object orientated programming, and I usually rely on loops. So I would feed in information, data types, data structures, typically through using a dictionary, which would originally be in the format of a JSON file, and then I would loop through that data to do what I need Selenium-wise. But as the script stands right now, it's not using any object-oriented programming or any loops. It's just really very sort of plain procedural, and I've done it that way on purpose so that you can just follow along and you can see how things work. So maybe I might get a little bit more complex and build something which is more sort of object orientated, and I can do another tutorial which introduces object orientated programming and showing you the advantages of using loops. But for now, I'm just going to keep it like this. But what I must do, I just need to clean things up a little bit. I like to have clean code because I did mention this before, it's just so much easier to read. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to introduce a library module called colorama, and I actually installed colorama on my other tutorial series, which is about the use of Apache Spark. So in that tutorial, it was just really a pip3 install colorama. So I'll just show you here. So in order to install it, it's sudo pip3 colorama, install colorama, and that's it. So if you just run that command, then you'll be able to install it. And what colorama is just creates colorization just colors your text, allows you to style your text in the terminal, and it's just really easier to read and follow along with your code. So I always use, whether I'm using Bash and I'm using color, or I'm using Python, I always, in the terminal, I'm always looking at the terminal, and I just like to see things colorized or differentiated in a way, so that way I can immediately look at my code and I can see exactly where I am. So yeah, so for the rest of this, it's from colorama import for back and style, and then we'll just do initialize. So this auto resets our color back to removing the color. So we'll colorize a line, and then it will just auto resets the line back to how it should be. So that way we don't need to manually do that, and that will make sense to you if you do a lot of colorization of text in using Bash. Okay, so that's it. So and there's a spelling mistake. As I said, I always make spelling mistakes. So that's it. So we've imported colorama, and I'm just going to put this into various places, and I'm just going to put some comments in my code as well. So here we're going to start the display, and then down here we're going to, and also what I'll do, I'll try and create a Git page for this where I have all of my text, and I'll put a link in the description too. So here we're going to start Selenium. And then let's just look at some of these descriptions over here. So for much of this, I'm just going to keep this as the same. So I'll just name this differently. So click link to sign in page. Okay, so then we arrive on the sign in page. And then we take a screenshot. So here I want to start using colorama. So let's just go back up quickly. Alright, so I'll use it on the home page, and let's get rid of that. So we've got print current URL, and we've got the title. Alright, so let's clean this up a bit. So I'll say for, and here I'm using colorama, so the foreground of my text is going to be white. The background of my text will be red. And I'll use an F string and I'll number that 01 home page. Okay. And so for the next value, or line of text. To differentiate what I'm looking at, I'll color that cyan, and then the background will be white, and the current URL will be driver dot current URL, and for the next line we'll include the title, so it will be title and then title. Okay, so I think that looks a bit better, and what we can do, we can get rid of that line, that line, that line, and that line. Okay, so that looks a bit cleaner. I'm just going to copy this, and I'll just replace some other parts where we have it. So here we've got the sign-in page, so I'm just going to put it here too. And get rid of this. And I'm not sure if I included title above, so I need to put that in here. Okay, and I think that should be okay. And of course I need to change that to (2.1) sign-in page. And all this is that when I run the code, we can see in the terminal some colored text, and it just makes it a lot easier to know exactly where we are. Okay. So I'm going to get rid of the screenshot because I don't really need to take a screenshot anymore. And I'm going to call that the next line 2.3 click button to sign in form. Okay, so 2.1, okay, let's go back a little bit. So 1.3 up here, this is where we click the element to go to the sign-in page, and then 2.1 we've landed on the sign-in page, and then we did take a screenshot at this point of the sign-in page, but the next thing that we want to do, we want to click the sign-in button on the form, sign-in form. And I'll just write that code, so it will be XPath value equals, okay, so I'll leave that blank for the moment, and I'll just write the rest of the code for now. Web driver wait. Actually, instead of writing that out again, I could just simply copy what I have up here. Now the wait element bit, I'll leave that at 30, so I don't need to change that. So I'll just copy it from here. So the XPath value, we'll need to change that, so I'll just get rid of that. And the rest of it should be fine, so I'll just extend this window a bit so we can see it. Okay, so just to refresh our memory, this is the WebDriver wait, and I'm looking for the element, so I'm saying wait for the element, which is this variable up here, wait element 30 seconds, and then until presence of element located by XPath, and this is the XPath value. So XPath, all capitals, which looks similar to my XPath value, but this is different. This is a module inside BY. So BY is a module that we imported above. So I'll just go to the top of the page. This is BY. And then XPath value, it will be my value, which is this. It's going to look for this element on the page. It's going to wait 30 seconds for it to appear before it interacts with it. And then I'll put it into this variable, so it's now an object into this variable called x, and then I will then invoke this module inside the object x, which is get attribute, which is outer HTML. I'll then populate that into outer, so just to help me see where I am, I'm then going to print out what that HTML looks like. I'm then going to wait 5 seconds, and then I will click, and then that will take me to the sign-in form. So you've got the sign-in page, and then you've got the sign-in form. So let's take a look at the web page. If I go to Internet Movie Database, so let's just refresh ourselves. So I arrive at the home page, I'm printing it out, I'm taking a screenshot at 1.2. I'm then clicking the link to go to the sign-in page, which is this link, sign in. I'm then on the sign-in page, so if I then click that, I'm now on the sign-in page, and then I need to click an element, which is going to be sign in. Let me just get my phone. We're then going to sign in with using our Internet Movie Database account. Now I've made up a dummy one, so you'll see my password and you'll see my email, which I just really made up, and no big deal. Okay, so I'll just close that. Oh, and when I click this, then takes us to the sign-in page. So this is the page which we need to get to. Then we need to fill out these details, and then we need to sign in. And that's that. So let's continue. While I had that page up, let's just get some of the details which we need. So I'll just go back. Okay, so the first thing that I need to do, as we come onto this page, I need to get the XPath. So I will inspect it, do a copy XPath, and I can put that value in. And I'll just escape these quotation marks. Okay, that looks good. So that's fine. Now, the next thing I need to do, once I've clicked that, I then, as mentioned, go to the sign-in page, into the form page. Now I also need to take the XPath values for these too. So let's first write our variables. And I need to just first identify what I'm doing, and that will be 3.2.1. Driver is now on the sign-in form. And let's just quickly take these, just copy these up here. I'll just, I don't really need to have title. I can set as a variable. I can take that out and just do a driver dot title. Alright, so let's copy this. And the next one will be 3.2.1, and we'll call that complete the form. And here we'll just create our variables. So we'll have email XPath, and we'll have email value, password XPath, and we'll have password value. And then we also need an XPath for the submit button, and we'll just put that in there as well. Okay, so those are our variables. So let's just go and get the values from the web page first. So for the email, again, it will be inspect, then where it's highlighted, copy XPath, and then for email, it will be my email address, and then password, it will be XPath, so we'll do the same again, inspect, copy XPath. And then for the submit button, which is that one, we'll just right click over it, and then, sorry, right click inspect, just like we did with the other two form fields, and then copy XPath. And put that in there. And like I say, always making spelling mistakes, so that should be an M rather than an N. Okay, so my email is richie@richie.com. This is a fake email, by the way, so if you try and contact me on that email address, it just won't go anywhere. The good thing about Internet Movie Database, as mentioned, is that you can sign up and it doesn't do a validation to your email, so you can just put any email in there just to test it. So that's a good thing. And also password. Okay. And my password is hello1234. Okay. Now, let's just put some more comments in here. So the first comment will be email field. And the next one will be password field. And the next one will be submit button. Okay. Now let's take what we have up here. I'm just going to copy all of this, and I'll put that into email first. And my XPath value, I can remove that and change XPath value to email XPath. Okay, I think that looks fine. And what we're going to do, instead of clicking, we're going to use a different method or module called send keys. Now what this means, the reason why I've replaced click with send keys, click is if you want to click something, right? So that's obvious. But send keys means that it's going to look for the value, and it's going to type that value for you into the form field. So it's going to type my email address into that email address form field. Okay, so now I can do the same thing with sorry, that doesn't look correct just yet, because I need to include something else in here, which will be x dot send keys. I need to give it a value of email value, so it knows what it's typing in. Okay, that's cool. And so again, I'm just gonna, for sake of knowing exactly where we are, we're just going to print out the HTML so that we know it's that particular form field we're filling out, and then we're just going to sleep for 5 seconds before we actually hit that key. Okay, so the next thing we can do, we can copy all of this and we can do the same for the password field. And we'll just change that to password XPath and password value. Okay, and for the submit button, we'll do the same thing. We'll copy everything that we have here, but we can get rid of a few things. We don't need the keys because we're not sending keys, we're just clicking a button, and we can get rid of it here too. And then what we can do, we can change password XPath to submit, and then it will be x dot click. And then just so that the page doesn't click straight away, I will just put a sleep in here for 10 seconds, and that's just going to keep the page open, so you know, for demonstration purposes you can see it, so it doesn't just quickly close on us. And I think on the last tutorial where I was doing a screen grab, I had set visibility to 0, which is headless, so I'll just change that back to 1, and then that way we can actually see this perform. And I know that I've probably got mistakes in here somewhere where I've spelt something incorrect, so let's just phase it. So when I click button to sign in form, we'll just put in, we'll just comment out this bit here. And we'll just test the first bit of our form, which will be the button that we click to go to the sign-in form, and then in the display in the terminal we'll see colorama in action, showing us the current URL and the title. Okay, and what I need to do, I just need to change this bit here, which is 3.1 sign-in page. Okay. Sign-in form. Okay. Alright, so let's give that a try. Must be so weird to see that picture of a girl in the trees. Okay, there's an error, I think. Oh, 4 is not defined. So I'll just quickly, I'll close that and just go back, 'cause that's line 36. Over here. And that's just a capital F. Just save that and try that again. So as you can see over here, we've got colorama in action. It's just way much easier to read what's happening in the terminal, doing it that way. Alright, so it's actually gone to the sign-in form. So we've got the home page, we've got the sign-in page, we then clicked the button in the sign-in page and it's taken us to the sign-in form, and as you can see, title sign-in form, we've got a URL for that. And so what you'll notice on what you'll notice is that you've got this huge string, this query string with all of these variables inside, or parameters, variables inside of the query string. And you could say to yourself, well, why don't I just copy the link from the sign-in form? Well, sometimes when you do that, they might have particular things which you're looking at right now in the URL, which you can only get that if you click a button. So that enables the people who code the website to understand that people are using it correctly and they're not automating, or they're not, the specific behavior you need to perform. You want to replicate that behavior by using Selenium to click on things in web pages. And so that's the benefit of doing it that way. Alright, so what I'll do, I'll just uncomment this bit up here, and this bit over here, and hopefully there'll be no errors. And what we'll see automation of signing in. Oh, okay, so I just need to escape my variables, variable values. So in email XPath, I just need to escape these quotes. And the same for password. And the submit button. Okay, fingers crossed this will work. Okay, home page. Click to the sign in page. Sign in page. Click the button to the sign in form. Sign in form, fill in the form fields. And then click sign in. And now you can see that we've signed in. So here is my username, Richard. That's not my real name, by the way, but that's my sign-in name, and we're now logged in. And so you saw it hang for about 10 seconds, and then it closed. And that's it. That's how you do an automated sign-in using Selenium.